This call is now being recorded.
This is Imam Siddique Abdullah Hasan, calling from Ohio State Penitentiary, Ohio's state-of-the-art supermax prison. As of today, April the 15th, 2015, myself and 4 other prisoners came off of the hunger strike that we started back in March the 16th. As of this date, only 1 prisoner remained left on hunger strike. And sometime before the end of this recording, I would explain the particulars of this case and what can the people in the media, activists, and others do to support this particular prisoner. But for now, after several days of intense negotiation with Warden J. Forshee and the inmate body, we finally came to a peaceful resolution. We also had the assistance of attorney Alice and Staunton Lynn, who helped us negotiate with the warden last Friday as well as yesterday, which would be Tuesday. So there was a lot of problems that had existed. We had to overcome some of the mistrust and other issues. For example, the warden did not wish to put anything in writing to us. He felt that if he were to do that, other prisoners would read what he put in writing, what he was conceding to, or what he intended to give us, that he felt was according to the law for us to have on other issues. That some prisoners, when they read that, they would try to go on hunger strike and force concessions out of him. That's why he did not wish to do it. So what we agreed to is this. We agreed to a suspended coming off of the hunger strike. So we suspended the hunger strike. And what that actually means is this. The warden has verbally told us what he intends to do, and I will enumerate those things in a minute, and what he would not be doing. And he gave us a time frame when these things would be accomplished. And if he does not accomplish them within the time frame that he actually gave us, then he is not negotiating with us in good faith, and as a result, we will go back on the hunger strike. So understand, the hunger strike has been suspended. Depends upon the warden's action. And the things that he agreed to give us, let's deal with religion first. As of next week, he said no later than next week, 5B prisoners, which consist of over 50 prisoners who are on that level, they will be allowed to attend religious service again. That can easily be implemented because the program area where religious class will be conducted, it's secure now after the non-fatal stabbing of 1 officer, so those prisoners will be allowed to have that. And I specifically asked them myself with regards to the other programming, such as educational, anger management, and many of the other programs that prisoners used to participate in to better themselves. He said, no, it is not applicable to that. It's only applicable to the religious service, but he's not having a closed mind about it. Maybe somewhere down the line, these issues can be brought back up. And honestly, I think they should, because prisoners need education. They need to work on anger management and other programs that they have to offer here for other prisoners who can attend, but 5B cannot. So that's the one thing he agreed to. As for recreation, which was the second most important issue, he said that's non-negotiable. He's not going to go to negotiate on that. So that means that prisoners will no longer, at this point, be allowed to have range recreation. The only exception to that is there are a few prisoners, approximately 17 to 24 prisoners.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional institution and may be recorded or monitored.
Who will be allowed to have range rec in congregation. Again, 17 to 20 prisoners. With all the 5Bs, the 5As, and the 4Bs, they will no longer be allowed to have range recreation. And there was nothing we could actually do. I mean, we couldn't just stay on this until he conceded, because if it's non-negotiable, he's not going to concede. It serves no purpose to continue to be on a hunger strike, asking for something that's not a law. with regards to religion. Religion is a law, but he's given people outdoors and indoors recreation. It just would not be allowed to be on the range, an open space area, to participate in recreation. And since that was a privilege and not a law, or not a constitutional right, there's nothing we could actually do to force his hand in that respect. But I would say this about prisoners being in a cell 24 hours to 23 hours a day now, and that's they get read 5 days a week, and 2 of those days they be in a cell 24 hours a day. I don't agree with that because I've been around some of these prisoners and other prisoners as well. And after being locked up for an extended period of time, people become angry, people become suicidal. So if before the year out someone hang themselves as a result of being up under an enormous amount of pressure, being locked down like that, it would not come as no surprise to myself that will come into existence. Because when you're talking about long-term solitary confinement for an extended period of time, things are bound to happen. So again, perhaps we can continue to revisit that issue, but that was not an issue we was willing to stay on a hunger strike about since he found it to be non-negotiable. The third thing was in C block, the block that I'm currently in, and the worst block there is in this institution, they have removed the flow mats for safety and health issues. But when we got to D block, when they moved myself and the other hunger strikers up to D block, we seen that they had never removed the shower mats from those blocks. And when we confronted the warden, the deputy warden for operation, what they said was they were supposed to be moved, but they was not moved. So as a result, it appears that only in C blocks the flow mat was removed. Nevertheless, the warden has agreed that the flow mats has been reordered, they have been cleaned, and no later than next week, the flow mats in C block should be put back into the shower. Because after they removed them, prisoners were falling, busting their head open. They had to go to the hospital and get staples and stitches put in their head. So that's something he agreed to. Another thing with regards to this private vendor or private company that serves food throughout the state of Ohio is called Aramark. And Aramark is a company that has problems all throughout the country. Many states have been filing lawsuits on Aramark for the small portions. The food sometimes can be inadequate nutritionally, unsanitary. Sometimes maggots have been found in the food, and they're always trying to do the things to cut costs. For example, they would give prisoners biscuits with syrup as opposed to what the statewide menu requires, pancakes and syrup. It requires soybean burger, but they make their own burger. They give prisoners saccharine sugar. That's for diabetes. We're not diabetes. So he's in discussion with the food service, and some changes will actually be made in that respect with the problems with the food. We also had a problem with soggy bread. They would give us bread on the tray, and the steam on the tray would cause the bread to get soggy. They bring us coffee. The coffee would be cold and half missing. So we're working on solutions to resolve that particular matter. That was the fourth issue. And the final issue would be medical. And that's why the one prisoner that's still on a hunger strike. His name is Siddique Abdullah.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional institution and may be recorded or monitored.
Again,
move back by the window. You were breaking up a little.
Okay. So we have the person that's still on the hunger strike because his medical problems has not been resolved to his satisfaction. His name is Siddique Tucker. That's SINDRICK Tucker. TUCKER, and his prison number is 178137. So in the last couple of days when we was talking to the warden, we told him that we would not come off the hunger strike until he talked to Tucker about his medical situation and allow him to see the doctor. And the warden agreed to that, and he lived up to what he said he would do. He came and seen Tucker. He brought the doctor to see Tucker. But because Tucker has filed numerous complaints against this doctor and the nurse practitioner here, I'm not sure if that's the reason the doctor did not do anything for him. But they tried to prescribe him some pain medication, but the pain medication that he had intended to prescribe to him this time was the same medication they had previously prescribed for him, and it didn't do him any good. And myself and the other 3 prisoners, we had assured the warden if he talked to Tucker and bring the doctor so the doctor can diagnose him, we would be coming off the hunger strike. And since we gave our word, we decided to honor our word, although we was dissatisfied with Tucker not being able to get the proper medical attention that he says he needs. But again, we had to honor our word because the man's word is his actual bond. So with regards to Tucker, the warden explained that he's just a warden. He's not over the doctor. He cannot tell the doctor what to do and what not to do because he did not diagnose Tucker. So it's out of his hand. And Gary Moore, he's the director of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. There's nothing that he can actually do because he's not a doctor. So within the last couple of hours, I was trying to come up with some ways how to best assist inmate Tucker. And I believe the correct way to do that is this. You have the state medical board in Ohio. One would have to go on the internet and get their mailing address, their email address, as well as their phone number and fax. And the state medical board is the one that gives out the license to all doctors, nurses, or anybody practicing any law or medicine in the state of Ohio. Whether you be a dentist, a podiatrist, whatever, you have to go to the state medical board, and they're the one that renew each individual license. So one thing, people can contact the state medical board and ask them would they look into Tucker's situation and see can he get some outside attention to his matter, because he think, again, he's being discriminated against because of the enormous amount of complaints he filed against Dr. James Klein and nurse practitioner Miss Carter. The second thing that one can do is that in the state of Ohio, they have a head doctor, and the head doctor of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, they can contact Mr. Klein, or they can actually send Tucker's medical file to their office, and they can review it themselves. And this doctor is over all the other institution doctors who are under contracts throughout the state of Ohio in Ohio's 28 prisons. That doctor name is Stuart Hudson, Stuart Hudson, Hudson, and his title is Medical Service Administrator. Again, Medical Service Administrator. His snail mail address is 770 West Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43222. Again, 770 West Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43222.
You have 60 seconds left on this call.
Again, make sure everyone has it. 43222. Call him. You can snail mail, write him. But if you go online, you will also be able to look up his phone number, his email number, and his fax number. And I think if the concerned public were to call him, get in contact with him by one of those methods, God willing, they will look into Tucker's situation and have another medical expert to take a look at his situation, and hopefully his situation can be resolved amicably. And with regard to the people in the media, I encourage them to continue to bring exposure to this film. And as long as the warden honor his commitment to do the things that he said, we will not go back on. We will not renew the hunger strike.
Left on this call.
And we thank everyone for their time and assistance.